Your thoughts create your feelings dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your events and indeed your whole life. And the law of control begins and ends with your thinking. If you want to change anything, change your thinking. There are two things that will guarantee that you can have a happy life. One is being grateful, and the other is forgiving. And many people get very confused with forgiveness and say, well, I'm forgiving that person. Why should I? They hurt me. You forgive another person, not for them, but for you. It's very hard to connect. When you feel different, you feel not enough. You have this emptiness. I have never met an addict in my entire life, and I have met hundreds of thousands. I've never met one who ever felt they were enough. Addicts are very fragile people, often very talented, but they feel not enough. And because they feel not enough, they need more. Every fourth child will become an addict. And you can start to pinpoint that before the age of 5.
Hi, it's Robin Sharma, and you're tuning into the Millionaire Student Show with Sashin.
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 Everyone, welcome to another episode on the Millionaire Student Show, where I get the opportunity to pick the minds of this generation's thought leaders, change makers, disruptors, innovators, and inspirations. Dissect their story from the pain they went through, the price they paid, and what their prize looks like today. I formulated the Millionaire Student Self-Development System and company because this is what I was searching for when I first entered the entrepreneurial world at 17 years old. My mission and purpose is to serve you with virtual mentorship to consciously make your clock tick. Without taking the thunder away from today's guest, she has nearly 3 decades of experience as a therapist, and during those 30 years, she has dominated and owned her niche by being a leading celebrity therapist, pioneering hypnotherapist, and a rapid transformational therapy trainer. As a hands-on therapist to her clients, she uses rapid transformational therapy to unlock the brain's neuroplasticity and help her clients literally rewrite their brains for performance, resolve past issues, and unlock their capacity for abundance. In her work with champion athletes, stars, and the world's top business leaders, she has noticed a reoccurring theme of maximizing abundance, the benefit of activating the mind's neuroplasticity to virtually remove all limits and open the door to the lives they want in health, wealth, love, and more. According to a survey from Ernest Young, 92% would likely use any of her ideas, tips, or tools. 90% thought the content from her speeches were relevant to them, and 100% would recommend her speeches to a colleague. She has been named Best British Therapist by Men's Health magazine and featured in Tatler's Guide to Britain's 250 Best Doctors, voted Best Speaker at numerous conferences, including the Mastermind Group London and the Women in Business Super Conference, Awesomeness Fest 2015, and the Royal Society of Medicine. The Millionaire Students, please help me in welcoming today's guest. She has written 5 best-selling books. In 2018, she and her RTT method won 8 Stevie Awards, a Venus Award, and an IDGT ad. In this podcast, she will demonstrate the instant transformation that's possible with a unique, highly personal approach to hypnotherapy. Marisa Peer. Marisa, the very first time we connected was in 2019 in Los Angeles at Tom Belew's house, and I could really and truly resonate with your energy and your passion for therapy and transforming people's lives. So thank you for physically, mentally, and spiritually being on the Millionaire Student Show today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm flattered and delighted to be here.
So I've studied your work and deeply dissected your story. For those who have no knowledge or experience on, the therapy you do, and most importantly, maybe they have never heard the name Marisa Peer before. Every guest that I host on the Millionaire Student Show throughout the entire podcast, I dissect their pain they went through, the price they paid before they experienced the prize. So you've had 3 decades of experience as a therapist. How did it all begin for you?
Gosh, that's an interesting question. So I was always wanted to be a child psychologist, but I realized very early on that it doesn't actually work because you always have 3 patients when you're a child psychologist. You have mum, dad, and child. And actually, I ended up going to work for Jane Fonda in Beverly Hills instead. And that was really fascinating because I would say every 4th woman there, probably 3rd, had some kind of eating disorder. So I was fascinated by people's mental health and how we try to fix mental health with physical things like dieting or exercising or shopping. And so I began to study hypnosis because it's such a powerful way of changing human behavior. We keep trying to change how we act, and we have to change the way we think in order to change the way we act. And so I studied that, and it changed my life, and it certainly changed the life of everybody I've worked for ever since. And I've been on this amazing journey, if you like, of working with clients, writing books, lecturing. And now I teach my own method of therapy. I created my own method of therapy many years ago. And I now teach people all over the world how to do what I do. It's called RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy. And it's amazingly successful. We have it now in jails, in hospitals, in schools. So it's really exciting.
So what was that turning point for you throughout that entire path that actually shifted you towards this transformational journey?
Do you know, it was never ever one thing. I don't think it ever is one thing. I think it's often a series of things. So when I was growing up, my parents kind of encouraged me to be a nanny because they thought I wasn't very bright. My brother was the bright one. And then when I got older, I was told I could never have a baby. And I had, like many people have, a few really interesting challenges. And I learned then that it doesn't matter what happens. It's how you feel about it. And so I decided that I would never believe that I couldn't have a baby. I certainly wouldn't believe that I would never amount to anything. And I think the learning for me was when you realize the most important words you'll ever hear are the words you say to yourself, not someone else, but you. Because when you dialogue with yourself, your mind goes, well, if you say it, it must be. You said to me, oh, Marisa, you're amazing, 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 amazing. I love you, love you, love you. That's all very nice, but you may have an agenda. You may want something. You may be using manipulation. But when I say it to myself, there's no agenda. My mind lets it in. And so learning to tell myself all the stuff I wanted to hear. My parents never told me I was bright, so I told myself I was bright. They never told me I was cute or attractive, so I started to tell myself that I was. They never told me I'd be anything, but I certainly told myself I would be. And that was such a transformation for me to realize that don't wait for someone else to tell you you're good. Tell yourself, because we go out in the world and go, hey, could you make me feel good? Could you tell me I'm all right? Could you tell me I'm good, I matter, I'm worth something? And maybe you could, but if I give you the power to make me feel good, I also give you the power to take that feeling away anytime you feel like it. When I do it myself, it's going to last forever. And so that's a very important message for everyone. Don't give someone else the job of making you feel good. It's your job to make yourself feel good. And it's a great job. Promote yourself. Get an honors degree in that job of making yourself feel good. And you can do it forever.
So before we get into the how-tos and methodologies, there's people from all walks of life either watching or listening in right now. And they might get throughout this entire podcast because they have no knowledge on the different types of therapy. What is hypnotherapy and rapid transformational therapy?
Okay. So first of all, I should tell you about conventional therapy is turning up and discussing your pain. And, all therapists are good people and all therapists want to help their clients. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a therapist. But I was always a little bit confused about this method that said, bring me your pain and we'll discuss it every week for quite a long time. And maybe after a year, you might make a break. And people say, but the thing with therapy is you have to trust your therapist. But, if I got run over by a bus and went to emergency, I don't have to trust my doctor. I just have to think, yeah, you're there, you can fix it. I don't have to build a relationship with someone. If I have a painful tooth, I do not have to build a relationship with my dentist. I could be anywhere in the world, go to an emergency dentist, they fix my tooth. I'm not going to wait till I've spent a year building a relationship with him. And there's no other form of treatment that says, bring me your pain and we'll discuss it. A dentist doesn't go, let's talk about the infection in your gum. A cardiologist does not talk about what's wrong with your heart. They fix it. So conventional therapy, talk therapy, it's good, it works, but it's long. And we live in a fast world where people in pain want to get better fast. Conventional therapy is looking really at at habits and patterns. Hypnotherapy is looking at why did you learn to do this? What went on? So a hypnotist wouldn't say, why do you do that? They would say, what went on in your life? What happened when you began to that? No one is born hoarding food or binging or purging or sabotaging themselves or pulling out their eyelashes or biting their nails or being destructive. That just doesn't happen. So hypnotists would always look at, well, what went on? And the hypnotherapist would uncover the why you did that, and then they fix it. And it's very, very successful. I love hypnotherapy. Everything I have in my life, and I have a lot. I have a baby I thought I could never have, a relationship I couldn't imagine, a career, a lifestyle, a home, a bank account that I couldn't have imagined. But when I could imagine it, I started to make it. So hypnotherapy is using the subconscious, not the conscious. Right? If you consciously say to someone, why do you do that? They go, I don't know. I guess I'm just a mess. I don't know why I overeat. I don't know why I drink so much. I don't know why I have all these money blocks. A hypnotist in session 1 will take you back and show you this is why you overeat. This is why you have money blocks. This is why you can't keep success. Not only do they show you why, they set about fixing it. So RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy, takes the best of hypnotherapy, NLP, CBT, every kind of therapy you can think of. And it's combined into what I call a hybrid therapy, but it also has a lot of modules that I created on my own. And it's amazing. It's very powerful because in 1 to 3 sessions, it will uncover the root of your issue and remove it. So when you do RTT, you're a bit like a detective and a dentist and a coder. The first hat you wear is the detective, and you're looking for clues. Why does this person pull out their hair? Why are they a kleptomaniac when they've got plenty of money? Why are they sabotaging themselves? And then after they found that out, rather like a dentist, they extract all that toxic stuff. And then like a coder, they code in and wire in and fire in better beliefs. And because they make a recording for you, the change is permanent and very powerful and really fast.
So you named your therapy Instant Transformational Hypnotherapy. What makes it very unique from other practices out there?
Okay, it's actually called Rapid Transformational Therapy. It doesn't really have the word hypnotherapy in it because while it uses hypnosis a lot, it's not just a form of hypnotherapy. It's called Rapid Transformational Therapy. What makes it unique is I think it's based on 33 years of working with clients. I was very lucky that I got voted best therapist in the UK, and that opened a lot of doors for me, and I was able to work with Olympic athletes and international movie stars and CEOs. I'm not telling you that to brag, but I suddenly got access to the minds of these incredible people, and I would look at what made them tick. And I began to see that whether I was working with a CEO, a billionaire living on a yacht in Florida, an international movie star or singer, or a regular person who had a bakery or a children's school, they actually all had the same problems. I began to see that all my clients only had 3 things wrong with them. And what RTT does better than anything else is it looks for those 3 things. When I'm teaching people to be therapists, I say, look, Somebody comes in with a shopping list. I'm bulimic. I'm a compulsive hoarder. I'm a compulsive shopper. I scratch my skin. I can't throw things away. They give a list. I'm addicted to cake and alcohol and drama. I know straight away as I look at that list that everything they've ticked says I'm not enough. I need more food because I'm not enough. I need more alcohol because I'm not enough. I hoard stuff because I'm not enough. I sabotage because I don't feel worthy. And so I will treat the not enoughness. I don't treat people's symptoms. I treat the root cause of their symptom. It's a bit like you going to a doctor saying, I've got headaches, and they're giving you headache pills when it's actually your posture that's causing the headache. The source of the problem and the source of the pain are often quite different. You could have a hip problem, and it's due to you not having your knee in the right position. So we go back and look at the source of most people's issues, that I'm not enough and I'm not lovable, and we treat that. The source of depression is not a chemical imbalance in your mind. Those studies aren't flawed. They actually don't even exist. They were completely made up. You can't test for a chemical imbalance in someone's brain. You can't put on electrodes and look for that chemical imbalance, and any doctor will say to you, no, you can't. There's no test to do that. And the things that actually cause depression are disconnection, because connection is vital to human beings, and we live in a world where we're becoming more disconnected all the time. So disconnection, not following your heart's desire, working for the money and not the joy. And the biggest one, harsh, hurtful, critical words that you say to yourself on a daily basis. So RTD is different because when you train in it, you get a basic training in human psychology. What are the 3 things wrong with every client you're ever going to see? The only 3 things that could be wrong with them. What are the only 4 ways they behave in order to fit in? What are the 3 things you need to know about your mind and how it works? And when you understand that the basic pillars of human behavior, you can fix anyone of anything as long as you have that basic understanding, which doesn't take years to learn. It takes weeks, maybe months.
So how we think has a direct effect on our bodies, and this means that we have physical symptoms that are caused by thinking, such as depression, phobias, allergies, which are real symptoms driven by thoughts. What do we need to do to heal the symptoms of our thoughts?
Well, any good doctor will tell you that 70% of people turning up in their office have real symptoms. Headaches are real, stomach conditions are real, skin conditions are real, but they're caused by disordered thinking. It's not a disordered organ, it's disordered thinking. That's actually very good news, because when you can understand that it's your thoughts that are making you ill, then you can change your thinking. When people say things like, well, I'm unhappy because of my marriage, because of my kids, because of my job, because of the weather, because of where I live. And it's very easy to blame something else. And yet 2 people can have exactly the same event, and one will find it makes them unhappy and one doesn't. So your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your events and indeed your whole life. And the law of control begins and ends with your thinking. If you want to change anything, change your thinking. Very easy to go, hey, I'm depressed, I need medication. I'm stressed, I need anti-anxiety pills. I'm overeating, I need a gastric band. I'm drinking too much, I need to go to rehab. All of those make sense, kind of. But you can't fix the problem unless you fix the thought that runs the problem. Every habit of action is run by a habit of thought. And in order to change the action, you have to change the thought that runs it. Like if you believe, smoking calms me down and it relaxes me, or cakes give me so much pleasure every day. At the end of the day, the cake is my reward. The cake comforts me and makes me feel good. When you take cake away from someone with that belief, they feel bereft. So you have to not just take away the habit of action, you have to take away the habit of thought. Many people say, I've stopped drinking, but I miss it terribly. I've stopped gambling, but I really miss it. You have to stop it and be elated by his absence. You can't just take something away. You have to take away the thought process that runs it.
So besides thoughts, how much of an impact does forgiveness, a sense of permission, and even meditation have on people?
Well, forgiveness is very important. There are two things that will guarantee that you can have a happy life. One is being grateful, and the other is forgiving. And many people get very confused with forgiveness and say, well, I'm forgiving that person. Why should I? They hurt me. You forgive another person, not for them, but for you. You look at holding on to bitterness and resentment, and what's it doing to you? Holding on to hatred. They do say in China, if you're in the business of revenge, make sure you dig 2 graves, one for you and one for your enemy. So it's very important to forgive, but it's not for the other person. So you don't carry around this hurt. It's very important to live in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest frequency you can ever resonate at. And it's very easy to go, oh, I'm so miserable. And when you stop and think, my problem is someone else's fantasy dream come true. Someone would love to have my problem. My kid leaves peanut butter marks on the fridge door. My partner leaves their underwear on the floor. My boss is really annoying. My commute is so long and boring, but some of them would love to have a kid that smeared jam on the fridge. Someone would love to have a partner that left their underwear on the floor. Somebody would love to have a job to commute to, and indeed a car to commute to that job too. They'd love to have a home where something was always going wrong and they've got to pay the bills. So when you get into that, is there someone in the world who'd swap places with me in a heartbeat? Yes. Is there someone who'd look at this problem and go, wow, that's my fantasy? Yes. Would I have 20 years ago given anything for this problem? Yes. Then it's not a problem. It's a mild inconvenience. It's a slight annoyance, but it's really not a problem. And you get over your problems by realizing that if they're not permanent, they can't hurt. If they're not personal, they can't. If they're not all pervasive, they can't hurt. So I'll give you an example. We're in London. We were due to be in LA a month ago, and the borders shut. And in the meantime, my house is flooded and the ceilings have fallen down. And someone who had my pets has still got them because we can't get back. And that's a challenge. I really need to go home to LA, get my house fixed, take my pet back out with my life, but I can't go back yet. So I could bitch and moan. I could go, I'm so stressed and, I feel so stuck and I'm so trapped. But I have to say, what's great about this? Well, I'm in London. I'm getting to see my daughter more. I'm in a great place. It's nice weather. I will get back to LA. And one day I'll look back and this won't matter because it's not a permanent problem. It's temporary. It's not personal. There are lots of people also can't get back into America. It's not pervasive. It's when I'm having dinner with my husband or walking out down Portobello Road where I am at the moment, I'm not bothered by the fact that I can't get back home. So whatever's going on, it can only hurt you if it's permanent, personal, and if it's going on all the time, 24 hours a day. You have to look at your problem and say, it will pass. I'll be back soon enough. My house will be fixed. My pets will be at home. And my life will go on. It's very easy to get so stressed about an event, because we have this primitive brain that says, if I can't fight and I can't flee, I am just frozen. Years ago, you'd walk through the prairie, maybe you'd see a lion, and you had 3 options. Fight, well, you can't fight a lion. Flee, well, it might run after you, so freeze. And it was very good to freeze, but now we look at our inbox and go, oh my God, I can't fight that and I can't run. We want to run away from our email, from our to-do list. And so instead we freeze. We have this ancestral primitive brain that freezes under pressure. And when you understand your wiring and you can kind of talk to your brain and go, okay, I feel like I'm stuck. I'm not really stuck. I feel like I'm overwhelmed, but I'm really not. I've got this huge amount of work, but I can chip away at bits of it, do one thing. And I'm going to feel so good I've done the one thing, and I can break it down into chunks and it will be just fine. Really, everything comes down to how you dialogue with you. We're all taught, if you want to have a great business, learn great ways to communicate with your clients. If you want to have a great life, As a parent, learn great ways to talk to your kids. Learn how to talk to your other half. But no one says to us, hey, but the real learning is how to talk to yourself, how to dialogue with your mind so it gets it and delivers. And there is a way where you can dialogue with your mind so it listens, gets it, and delivers. And if you can do that, which you can, you're in charge of your entire life.
So in this day and age, there's a lot of people that actually have addictions. And, from addictions, from overusing mobile devices to food to even more serious substance abuse to drinking, gambling, shopping. And you talked about it being that thought of you giving birth in your mind to it, that you're addicted to the thought as opposed to actually addicted to the item itself. Why is it that people find it so difficult to actually connect with other people, but so easy to connect to an object for a short period of time?
Well, the object doesn't judge you. The object doesn't let you down. I've worked with many heroin addicts, and when they talk about heroin, it's like, oh, yeah, it's always there. It never lets me down. I can always depend on it. They describe it like it's their lover.
Yeah.
So we come onto the planet, and we have to find connection and avoid rejection. We are hardwired and supercoded to find connection and avoid rejection. When we lived in tribes, that was relatively easy. We all looked the same. We're all interrelated and we all live the same life. But now we live in multicultural societies and we feel different. And being different can be the bane of our lives. After all, we need to connect, and we connect by being the same. I'm like you, you're like me. Little kids go, oh, I like green pasta. I like green pasta. I like strawberry. I like strawberry. Oh, you're my friend. You're just like me. And that's how they connect. And when you feel different, it's very hard to connect. And when you feel different, you feel not enough. You have this emptiness. I have never met an addict in my entire life, and I have met hundreds of thousands. I've never met one who ever felt they were enough. Addicts are very fragile people, often very talented, but they feel not enough. And because they feel not enough, they need more. More of what? Well, you name it. If I don't feel enough, I could need more food, more alcohol, more drugs, more time gaming, more products to buy, more stuff to hoard. I might need to go on eBay and keep buying things. I may need to constantly go on FaceTime and Instagram and get more likes. But what I'm doing is trying to find a filler for the emptiness in me. And because the emptiness is emotional, I can't fill it with stuff. So when addicts get treated, you must treat the I'm not enoughness. When you treat that, it's such a game changer. When you go from I'm not enough to I am enough, you see, when you're not enough, you can't get enough stuff to fill the emptiness. When you know you are enough, you don't need more. That doesn't mean you don't require more of yourself. You don't need to buy lots of products. You don't need people to go, oh, you're great, you're great, you're great. You don't need that because you know you're enough. You come from a place of I'm worthy and I'm enough just the way I am. That doesn't mean I'm not going to push myself to be even better in my career, in my relationship, but it means that every day I get up in the morning, I go to bed with myself, and I know I'm enough. And your punishment and reward in life are exactly the same. You get to get up every morning and go to bed every night with yourself. And if you know you're enough, it's a joy. And if you think you're not enough, it's horrible because you're always looking for, well, what can I do or be or find or buy or get to make me feel enough? But it's not out there. It's in here. And so when you know you're enough, it's just the best feeling ever. And it's available to every single one of you right now.
So habits, values, and addictions are formulated within children, which is highly affected by the environment and association. Is there a way of preventing addiction from childhood?
Yeah, very much so. A lot of studies will say that small children, I've got quite a few friends who are court lawyers, and they say that every fourth child will become an addict. And you can start to pinpoint that before the age of 5. We know that children whose parents aren't present, children whose parents don't spend time with them, children whose parents are busy or absent are much more likely to be addicts, children who get given stuff but not present parents tend to be more likely to be addicts. So if you want to make sure that your kids are not addicts, first of all, don't give them loads of stuff. Don't keep buying them stuff every day and going, I'm busy, here's a book. I'm busy, here's a toy. I don't have time for you, but here's some food, because you're teaching them that fills the place. And when somebody can't connect with a person, they will connect with a needle, a product, a food item. They'll connect with something. You know, there's a great study called Rat Park, and it always said it's the environment that can make you an addict. And that's so true. After all, a very happy person who goes into hospital, so he doesn't come out addicted to morphine, even though they gave them morphine in hospital. A happy person doesn't say, I've had a couple of drinks and now I need more. I had a bit of puff to make me relax and now I can't get out of bed without it. So with your children, you must give them a powerful sense of their self, a powerful sense of self-esteem. Ask them what they're good at. Tell them they are good. Tell them they're worthy. Make them believe that they are enough inside. And when you know that you're enough in here, you don't look out there for something to give you enoughness, because you understand it comes from you. So the best thing you can give your children is high self-esteem. Praise them, spend time with them, show them what they're good at, make them believe they're gifted at something, make them believe they're enough, not better than anyone, but not less than anyone either, and that they have something to offer the world, and then they'll be far less likely to ever become an addict.
Hey, I want you to take a quick split second of your time. All I want you to do is hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. I want to update you when I have a next iconic guest on my show. Stay in student mode.
Hi, it's Marisa Peer, and you are tuning into the Millionaire Student Show with Sashin.
How can we silence and eliminate destructive criticism, and what are the steps to actually achieving that?
Well, the way to build self-esteem is to let in praise, especially your own praise, but do not let in destructive criticism. The way to build high self-esteem is to praise yourself. You know, here's the thing in life. You started off as a baby, so did I. As a baby, you and I and every baby have very clear needs. I need to feel safe, so important. I need to feel loved. I need to feel that I matter. I need to feel significant. I need to feel worthy and celebrated. And if you're very lucky, you have parents who celebrate your birthday, celebrate your little wins and tell you that you matter and encourage you to just be you. If you're unlucky, as most of us are, we have parents who don't meet our needs. They wanted a boy and they got a girl. They wanted a girl and they got a boy. They wanted someone taller, smarter. And when our needs are not met, we go into the world like this. Hey, could you meet my need? Could you out there make me feel pretty or handsome or nice or interesting? Could you make me feel worthy? And the problem is when someone goes, yep, hey, I can do that. But they can also stop doing it anytime they like. And now you still have this unmet need. My parents never met my needs. They never told me they were proud of me. And now I'm looking out there for someone to go, hey, I'm proud of you. I still have the unmet need. The unmet needs of children turn up in the office of every therapist. But when you can say, okay, I have a need. I need to feel important. Well, I could meet that. I need to feel someone's proud of me. I could say, I'm proud. People say it's not the same. It's actually better, because there's no agenda. So look at what your unmet needs are and start to meet them yourself. You will never meet someone in the world who can meet every need you have. I have a beautiful marriage, but I can tell you right now, my husband can't meet all my needs, and I can't meet all of his either. Some of them he meets, some I meet, and some would just go, well, that need's not important. I need a super tidy house. He needs to cook, even if he's not hungry. And when he cooks, he makes a mess. And here we are. He likes that. Let's have everyone over and have a dinner. And I'm like, oh my God, the mess. It's going to be raining. I'm sort of traipsing in and out of the house and the garden. But I understand his need to socialize. And I love that too. So my need to have a perfect house has to be put to one side. It's never really going to be met. I know that the only way I can have a perfect house is to live alone for the rest of my life. And I don't want that. So work out what your needs are. Decide which you can meet. Decide the ones that actually don't matter. One day you'll be 98 years old. Your kids will have left home and you go, God, I wish I could go back to those days where there were peanut butter smeared on my fridge door, where there was someone's dirty underpants left on the floor. I wish I could go back to those days where my kids left unmade beds and crumbs in the bed and pizza on the kitchen counter. One day you'll get your dream for a tidy house. You'll be all on your own and you won't want it. One day you can stay in bed all day and not go to work because you'll be 98. And friend, you think, wow, I wish I could go back and be 50 years younger. I didn't appreciate what I had. So meet your unmet needs yourself. Somebody will meet some of them really well. But don't go out and go, hey, I've got this unmet need. Nobody was ever proud of me. They never will. You see, when you were a kid, you do something called tagging. An event happens. My mum never says she's proud of me. Now here comes the tag. It will always be that way for the rest of my life. It will never change. I can't fix it now. Never be able to fix it. And that's just not true. Take off the tag. My dad didn't love me. He was a village drunk and he was never there. That's a great shame. But that doesn't mean you're not lovable. My parents didn't pay any attention to me. That doesn't mean you're not interesting. Take off the tag. Recognize that the unmet needs of children can be met in adult life. My parents didn't meet a lot of my needs. That's a great shame. But, I wouldn't change any of that because it made me a great therapist. It made me understand what it's like to feel that you don't matter. And it also made me realize that I can make myself matter. I don't need my parents to do it. Because then if you need someone else to do it, it makes you needy. And you don't want to be needy. We're already needy when we're children.
I guess most people don't take a break from every situation to breathe, observe it, ask themselves questions, flip the side around, understand the entire circumstance, and then make a decision. That's the issue. They jump into things and they're so quick to actually go out there and point fingers.
Well, you see, when you say it like that, it sounds like work. Oh my God, I've got to sit down, take up myself, take a deep breath, analyze, think, oh, I can't do that. I'll just have a drink instead. Because, we like instant gratification. I could go to the gym, do meditation, do self-hypnosis, do self-analysis. But, I can just go out to the pub and have a pizza on the way home and feel good for a couple of hours. So the problem is if you make something feel like work, people don't want to do it. I used to take a lot of vitamins. I had a tray of vitamins and it felt like so much work to take those every day that I just couldn't be bothered. I have to now realize I need to take 5 vitamins because it's like when anything is too much work, you don't want to do it. So what you're saying is good, but it has to be easy. The reflection has to be easy. You have to say to someone, hey, you can change in 3 minutes, in 30 seconds. If you write on your mirror every day, I am enough. If you write it on your mirror, write it on your fridge, like you might notice I have these little bracelets that all say I'm enough. And you say, great, this is my job. Every day when I'm cleaning my teeth, I go, I'm enough. I'm enough, I'm enough. Now that is not work. It's not hard, it's not difficult. We all talk to ourselves every day. We all go, oh, I've forgotten the toothpaste, or, oh, I like this soap, or I don't like this soap. You might as well talk to yourself better. So all you have to do to change your life is say, I am enough. That's easy. You see, a lot of people give people stuff to do that's hard. Write down 1,000 goals, read these books. It's too much. We live in a busy world. Give people something to do that takes 30 seconds. I say to people, I want you to say I'm enough every day. As you clean your teeth, morning and night, as you get into bed, as you get out of bed, as you pee, as you're in the shower. What else are you going to do? Say I'm enough when you're driving your car. Link saying it to a certain activity like cleaning your teeth, being in the bathroom, and just repeating that, because the mind learns by repetition, will make your life easy. And that's not work. And then you can start to add, I'm enough and I'm lovable. I'm enough and I'm significant. I'm enough and I matter. You see, what we do is we all tell ourselves a lie. I'm not enough. I'm just a big fat mess. I'm just a loser. I'm just hopeless. I'm just incapable of changing my life. I'm no good at confidence. I haven't got the ability to lose weight. I can't get myself together. That is a lie. And if you're prepared to tell yourself a lie, at least tell yourself a better lie. I'm lovable. I matter. People like me. That's not true. Neither is saying you're a big hot mess. So at least tell yourself a good lie, because your mind believes whatever you tell it. That's a thing that people don't get. Your mind does not care if what you tell it is true or false, right or wrong, useful or useless. It doesn't care. And you know what? It doesn't even know. If you say my job is killing me, your mind thinks, well, that's true. I'm dying under the pressure here. If I get ghosted one more time on Tinder, I'm going to die. Your mind doesn't go, that's ridiculous. Of course you're not. It believes you. So why not say, next time I go on Tinder, I'm so magnetic and lovable or amazing. I find someone who just falls in love with my soul because I'm irresistible. Why not say that? You have every chance of it becoming true. Just like when you go, well, there's no men in the world. I read in Cosme, you're more likely to get abducted by an alien than find love at 50. That's not even correct. You can find love at any age if you believe you're lovable. So tell yourself a better lie. Tell yourself a good lie. Tell yourself a lie that helps you and not hurts you. Tell yourself you're enough. And that really is all you have to do to dramatically, permanently, and powerfully change your life.
So let's talk about connecting, loving, and why relationships are successful and unsuccessful. What is the difference between healthy and unhealthy love?
Okay, so here's the first thing. I mean, I said it myself. I don't believe it. Looking for your other half. You are not a half. You're a whole. You don't need someone else to complete you or make you worthy. So the thing that makes a relationship wrong is this. When I find someone, they're going to sort everything out. My life's going to be so much better. I'm going to find someone who is perfect. We're going to have a perfect life. Here's the truth. You are a flawed person. So am I. And the best you can ever get is meet a flawed person and have a beautiful, flawed relationship together. You see, people swap their problems. I'm single, and if I was in love, it would be great. Now I'm in love, but I've just got new problems. I don't like my partner's parents. I don't like my partner's habits. I don't want to compromise on what I'm eating or watching on TV, or I'm going on holiday. But now I've got to compromise. So we just switch. I'm single, I want a baby. Now I've got a baby, but I've just swapped my problems for new ones because there is no happy ending. If you expect life to be perfect, you've entered a race with no finishing line. As you move towards it, it moves and it moves and it moves. So the biggest mistake is believing that you will find perfection in another person, because you won't, and they won't find perfection in you. The biggest mistake is that you're going to meet someone who's a psychic, and they know exactly what you want in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the gift department. They don't know. You have to help them out. The biggest disappointment is this living happily ever after. And the second biggest thing we do wrong is we meet someone and the sex is so amazing. We overlook the fact that you don't even really like this person. So it's great when you can have wild, hot, heavy, passionate sex, but that is not a good enough reason to marry someone or even to be with them. For a relationship to work, you have to have sexual chemistry. It's very important. But you've also got to have best friend chemistry. You have to get on. You have to share the same interests. You have to like each other. You know, I see a lot of interracial relationships that go terribly wrong. It's like, oh, we were wildly in love, and then we had kids, and he said, no, the child's got to be a Muslim. I'm like, are you kidding? Over my dead body? And it's all gone wrong. I've just been working with someone only this month who married someone in a different country, living on an island. It was all marvelous. And now they've got a child. It's like, I want my child to go to school. Oh, no, our kid's going to be running barefoot in the surf. You know, they never stop to say, have we got anything in common? Do we even like the same stuff? So you must have sex with them. You must have best friend chemistry, but you must also admire that other person and respect them. And we're so quick to jump into relationships believing that this person will fix us. No one can fix you except you. It's your job to fix you. Even sexually, we say, well, you know, you've got to give me great orgasms. It's your job to make yourself super orgasmic. And you can definitely share that with someone. But don't give all of those jobs to someone else. You have to do them yourself. So with a relationship, it's this, the other thing people say is, I'm going to give 50%. Oh, no. You've got to give 100%, whatever you want. If you want your person to give you great gifts, give them gifts. If you want them to shower you with affection, shower them with affection. If you want them to do something nice, do something nice. You know, don't give 50%, give 100%. Look for someone who you've got best friend chemistry, sexual chemistry, but who you deeply respect and admire, who you can imagine going through the hard times with, who's going to hold your hand when you're sad, hold your head when you're sick, clean your teeth when you've just thrown up and you can't get out of bed. And if you have someone that does that, then you're really very, very lucky indeed.
So I've heard you say people will like you to the degree that you like yourself, and it's a mental thing.
Of course, you know, if I kept saying to you, do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? You might go, yeah, I like you. Why do you like me? Well, I like you because you're funny or interesting. Why else do you like me? Do you like the other person more than me? But if I go, well, I like me. I think I'm interesting. I think I'm amusing. And I'm really glad that you like me too. But even if you didn't, I would still like myself. So it's great to like people. We tend to like people who are like us. And if you look at all the people in your life that you love, your friends, your children, none of them are perfect. They're often flawed, but you like them in spite of their flaws. And if you can like your friends in spite of their flaws, then remember, they like you in exactly the same way. And if you want someone to like you, if you don't like yourself, how can someone like you when you don't like you? You have to like yourself. And then you give the world consent to say, hey, like me too. So you have to have a little sign on your head that says, I like myself a lot. And if you like me too, that's great. And I like you back. And if you don't like me, well, that's okay, because I still like myself. Not, oh, you don't like me. What's wrong with me? What have I done wrong? How can I change to make you like me? You don't have to do anything except like yourself.
What most people do is we keep our attention, but deep down within us, we're so attracted from the outer world, but deep down within us, we actually aren't settled. We aren't fulfilled. So if we're looking for attention from the outside world rather than selling ourselves on us.
Well, yeah, you have to like yourself. If you don't like your own company, how can you expect anyone else to? If you don't like yourself, how could you ever expect someone else? If you don't think you're worth it, how can you think somebody else will think you're worth it? So you have to honor yourself. You know, there's a great fine line between being ruthless and being a martyr. And in the middle, it's called honoring yourself. Just decide before you go out of an evening, what's good about me? What's nice about me? And focus on that. Focus on the outcome. I'm going on a date. Don't focus on, oh my God, what if they're too good? What if they don't like me? What if I'm boring? Focus on what you like about you. And then it'd be much easier for someone else to see that in you. And remember, when you were a kid, you liked yourself. Babies are completely in love with themselves. And all you're going to do is reactivate, remanifest, and regenerate what is already there. No one's actually doing anything amazing or unusual or scary. As a kid, you liked yourself. If your mum shut you in a cupboard, you wouldn't go, oh, wow, she doesn't like me. I better just lie here until she changes her mind. Children cry and scream and demand attention because their inner mind says, I'm worth it. If I cry, somebody will come and pay attention to me. And so all you're doing is getting back that innate knowing that you're enough that you were born with. And you can get it back anytime you like. And it's a good time to start now.
So you talked about the I am enough formula. And what transformational changes have you personally seen in people's lives after they've applied that I am enough formula?
Oh, everything. I've seen people who stopped being suicidal in days, who said, gosh, I was working out ways to kill myself. And I just tuned into you talking about I'm enough. I listened to it every day. And in a matter of days, that feeling of what's the point had gone away. I've met many women who said, I listened to I'm enough. And I left an abusive relationship. I heard your voice in my head go, I'm enough. And I walked out of my apartment. I walked straight down to the supervisor to get my husband out of here. He's abusive. And then I walked straight down to the police station and took out an injunction. Then I walked straight to a little store and asked for a job, and I got one. I've worked with many school kids who said it's eased depression. I've worked with many schools who said that using my I'm Enough program has eliminated bullying. And that's probably one of the things that makes me happiest of all, knowing that I'm Enough will stop bullies bullying, as well as stopping the children who are being bullied getting bullied. So it's had all kinds of effects all over the world. A lot of people say to me, I'm a better parent, I'm just a nicer person, I'm happier, I'm a better boss, I'm better and every better employee. The simplicity of I'm Enough is its strength. It's because it's simple, but it's also so honest, and its effects are quite profound.
So Marisa, scientists state that you can boost your immune thinking by thinking differently, and that meditation can make you about 12 to 15 years younger. How can we reverse aging?
Well, aging is a stage, and every thought you think is a blueprint, and your mind, body, and psyche try to work towards that blueprint. The strongest force in everyone is that we act in a way that absolutely matches our thinking. And if you go to countries like Japan and see people who have a different experience of aging, you see people outside in the street doing Tai Chi, you see people still working. I was somewhere, it wasn't Japan, it was somewhere where my taxi driver said, here, you have to work until you die, there is no pension. But he said that people who work, they live better. So whenever you go to countries where they have a very healthy older generation, I was in the blue zone in Sardinia where people live into their hundreds. And you'll see that what these people do is they have a joy of life. And there are a lot of things that slow down aging. Sex is a very good way of slowing down aging. Exercise, there is probably nothing better than exercise to slow down aging. Eating better, but more than anything, thinking better thoughts. So the minute you start to say, oh, I'm too old for that at my time of life, I'm past it, I can't do that anymore. The minute you get into that aging language, you become older. I love the expression, when hope dies, old age runs to meet you. And if you have a passion for something, you don't age. If we look at Mick Jagger, 78 and still on stage singing about girls and sex and being hot. If we look at Tishan, who was still painting in his 80s, and composers who are still composing, if you have a passion for something, it will keep you young. And that people who age well leave clues. I mean, Mick Jagger's not retiring. He's not in an old people's home. He's out there living a life, acting like he's young. And if you act younger, if you still giggle and laugh and dance and sing and have sex and go out and hang out with younger people, it makes you younger, because you have a biological age. You have the age of your birth certificate. That's your chronological age. And you have a biological age, and that's the age of your organs. So you could be 60, but if you run, you'll have a heart that's 50, but knees that could be 70. And then you have your psychological age, the age you feel. And you can feel childish and fun and young, or older and stressed moment to moment. But the age you feel affects the age of your organs. Your birth certificate age is irrelevant. Just don't refer to that. So if you do young things, if you dance and sing and act young, then that will affect your biological age. And you can be 15 years younger than the age your birth certificate says you are. People who meditate, yogis, people who are happy, people who've got a younger partner often are biologically younger because they're engaged in young activities, and that's a good thing.
So let's look at someone that has everything going for them in life. They have the bone of positivity, they have fame, fortune, success, and even a good marriage, but they don't feel enough. What would you say to someone that is living that life?
I would say buy my book, I'm Enough. It costs like $10. It comes with free downloads. The downloads cost $45. It's a great bargain and it will change your life. Wiring in I'm Enough is a process. It's an easy process. It's a simple process. But if you really want to know how to do it, I wouldn't have the time to explain that. Buy the book. And if you want to go further, we have a whole program. We have a website called I Am Enough. Go there and find out how you can wire in, fire in. We give away products, bracelets, cushions, little notebooks, pens, key rings that all say I'm enough to wire in that memory. The most effective way would to go to Amazon and buy that book now. It's got so many incredible reviews. I mean, amazing reviews. I didn't write them. I didn't pay anyone to put them up, but it's really an amazing book.
Marisa, we'll definitely put that in the link below in the description. In closing up with the last few questions, I love what you said about, damaged people are drawn to fame. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. We start off in life and life isn't fair. Many of us look out the world and go, well, it's not fair. This person's got love and I'm not enough. And as a child, if you feel not enough, if you feel your mother doesn't love you, your father isn't interested in you, it's very seductive to be famous because you look at people and think, well, everyone loves them. And so many people who feel not enough are drawn to fame. They have a very powerful driver to go out there and become someone to make everyone love them. So if you look at someone like Judy Garland, Heath Ledger, Michael Jackson, George Michael, we can see in it that need, Amy Winehouse, to have everyone love you, to be famous so you're loved. The problem is when you pull it off and people love you, you don't know if they love you or love the you that fame represents. And many people say, but they just love this body. I think Rita Hayworth said, every man I meet goes to bed with Gilda, it's the part she plays. Or maybe it was Ava Gardner, when they wake up with me. Sharon Stone said, every man I meet thinks I'm that character from not Fatal Attraction. I've forgotten what her movie was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It'll come to me. But every person thinks that's me, and that's not me. And so it's very difficult for people because we become famous to make everyone love us. And then we think, yeah, but I don't know if you love me. And I had a belief, I'm here, I'm going to go over there and be famous, and then everything will change. And when I get over there, it's like, oh, I'm famous, but I've still got the same issues I had before, except there's nowhere to go. I had a dream before. Being famous will make everything better. And we wonder why famous people kill themselves, self-destruct, act out, because it's like, well, the dream didn't work and I don't know where to go now. And so then they go into downhill using drugs or alcohol or something, because fame doesn't make you feel enough. You don't need to be famous to know you're enough. You just need to be yourself and know you're enough.
So wealthy people expect their kids to be like them, yet they do everything for them. And this takes away their passion, finding their purpose, as well as working hard in life. What advice would you give a parent who paid the price in their life, they built up their net worth, and believes that their children shouldn't go through the same struggles and pain that they actually went through?
Yeah, somebody was saying that to me recently. My kids shouldn't have to do what they don't want to do, because I don't. I said, yeah, but you did once. And the thing is with your children, they're not your children. They are unique individuals. And if you take away the hunger to go out and do something themselves, when you have a little baby, they're so proud when they can dress themselves. When they go, I can do that. When they can feed themselves, they don't want you to do it. So I want to feed myself. I want to dress myself. I want to do that myself. And if you do everything for your children, you take away their ability to go out in the world. All you can ever give your children is confidence, self-esteem, and the freedom to go out and make their own mistakes. You have to make children independent as fast as you can. I failed miserably at that, but I can look back now and see that my job was to make my child independent, because I was a single parent, and because I made her very codependent, and then I had to work really hard to try to reverse that. When you do everything for your kids, you disable them. I mean, it's great to say, look, let me help you. Of course, you want to build your own business, so I'm happy to help. I'll put in half, but you have to put in half. I'll fund this as long as I see you working hard. The day you stop working is the day it's all over. Yes, I will help you a little bit, but I need to see you really working, because we have to feel we can achieve something. When we say, oh, Mom, buy me a car, buy me a business, buy me a house, buy me another business, and when our parents just write out a check, that's the worst thing they can do.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. What does self-talk and your internal dialogue with yourself sound like on a daily basis?
Oh, that's a good question. So for me, I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do is I focus on what I love. I love waking up. And the other day I woke up and my neighbor's cat was sleeping in the crook of my knee. It come into the window. I was lying under this lovely sheet. There was a fan going, and I was thinking, well, this is just so nice. So when I wake up, I focus on, I love my bed. I love my bed, and I love my shower. I love my first cup of coffee, my first cup of tea. And I always get into that state of what is great about today, right now, because I believe that the minute you can get into that gratitude, I love my first cup of coffee. I love everything that's little and simple, because once you can get into that liking little things, then you start to like everything. And every day is a bit like Christmas, and big things are huge. And so it's just about always being grateful, not needing anything more, realizing, and a lot of people have found that in COVID, that things don't make us happy. It's our relationship with people. So for me, the being grateful is very important. What's good about this is very important. What do I love about my day, my life is important. And as long as I do that, my day is great. And sometimes the thing with all of that is that when you do it, it becomes so second nature that you don't even think about it. I don't think, oh, it's not fair that I can't eat pancakes for breakfast with syrup on them, because I don't want to eat like that. I like eating healthy food most of the time. So with all of this self-talk, it starts off being what you do, and then it becomes who you are. When it becomes who you are, it's automatic and effortless.
Marisa Peer, thank you so much for being on the Millionaire Student Show today. I truly appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, if you want to do what I do and train with me and become a certified RTT therapist, just go to rtt.com. If you want to learn how to be enough, go to imenough.com. And if you want some free products, some free downloads in love blocks, wealth blocks, health blocks, go to marisapeer.com. That's Marisa Peer with one S and one R. And you can take all kinds of stuff completely free.
Marisa, thank you once again. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.